Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your May 2020 full moon reading. Now, this reading is going to go from full moon to full moon, so from the full moon in May, which is on the 7th, to the full moon in June, which is on the 5th. And it is going to show you how this moon will impact you and what you need to be mindful of during this time. Okay. Now, with that said, let's dive into this moon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put your Queen of the Moon cards and your Moonology cards over to the side. And these are your Moonology cards. These will be layered on top of the tarot to give you a really good understanding of how the moon is going to correlate with what the tarot is saying. So how Luna will correlate with the tarot and with the emotions going on. So let's see here. How will Aries be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Aries be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Aries be affected by the May 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. All right. So let's see here. At the heart of everything, we have the Page of Swords and air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but there's going to be a lot of learning that comes in. You have the High Priestess, so that definitely amplifies this. The Four of Swords. The Chariot, which is a strong Cancer presence, a time frame June 21st to July 22nd. Then we have the Seven of Cups at your roots. We have the Death card. So this is a strong Scorpio energy, which is very powerful. This moon will be very powerful for you because it is a supermoon, and I do have everything laid out right here. It is a supermoon, but also this is a full moon in Scorpio. So that Scorpio energy is going to be really powerful for you, and it leads you to the Nine of Cups, which is absolutely beautiful. That is something that is very, very nice to see. And then we have Justice coming in. Now this is a Libra energy, a time frame of September 23rd to October 22nd. We have the Nine of Wands. The repeat of the number 9 is showing you coming close to a completion of a cycle. You have the repeat of the number 7 here, so make sure you keep everything on the up and up, and also honesty is going to be very important to you. You're going to have a lot of integrity during this time. And the Eight of Wands. Okay, things start to move fast. They do, and I like that progression of the 7 and then the 8. That's very, very nice. Okay. So let's start talking about this moon before I dive into what the tarot is saying. Now, the moon, always here from the Queen of the Moon cards and the Moonology cards, the full moon represents power and a surrendering to the divine. So during this time, and this is also going to be a fantastic time of moving forward, this is also going to be a fantastic moon for the state of the world. All right, we've come out of the Libra full moon, which was also absolutely breathtaking for this time, and now we're stepping into the Scorpio full moon, and Scorpio is the most intense sign in the zodiac. So there's a fierce sense of compassion that tempers us, that deepens within us, and that turns us to wisdom instead of towards, outwardly things. So instead of turning outward during this time, you're really going to be turning inward at what you want and what you desire. This is a supermoon, so this is definitely amplified by the fact that it is a supermoon. This is the last supermoon in a course, I believe, of 4 supermoons that we have just come out of. And the supermoon says emotions are running high. And this is definitely going to be a case with a Scorpio full moon, because what you are seeing here is you're going to see a kind of more of an amplifying of your emotions, your passions, your joys, your love, your contentment with this world is going to be the center stage in your life, as is, jealousy, betrayals, fears, hates, hurts. So really choosing what to focus on during this time and making sure that you have this as your focus, because it is amplified by the supermoon, is going to be so important. So emotions run high, and you are attracting to yourself what it is that you need. So even if kind of the more negative aspects, quote unquote, negative aspects come out, you are exactly where it is that you need to be. So don't be harsh or heavy on yourself, saying, oh my gosh, I should be embracing this moon more, or I shouldn't be feeling this way. Where you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be within your journey. And we can't take away the darker side of life. We just can't. Or, the more negative things. We're not supposed to talk about shame, about anger, about jealousy, about hates. We're always supposed to be happy and perfect, right? But that isn't how life is. And with this supermoon, and with the fact that the supermoon is in Scorpio, you are going to see yourself, and this is the flower, full moon, you're going to see yourself blooming towards and within the emotions that need to be addressed. Because Aries, during this time, you may feel like you're a bit overwhelmed. You may feel as if you're not moving in the direction, or you're moving very slowly in the direction that you want to be. And what's going to be the best thing for you to do at this time is not say, okay, I have this goal, I have this plan, I want to be 15 steps ahead of everybody else. It's kind of like what I'm seeing here is when you're running a race. And the people who usually wind up winning the race, they don't come ahead. They don't have that last burst of energy till the very end. So here, if you kind of use up that energy, that burst of energy at the very beginning, you're going to feel very drained from this moon, because it's a very intense moon. And by kind of taking what needs to be dealt with time by time, and letting yourself move slowly and connectively and powerfully with what's in front of you and with the rest of people. You might sit there and think, oh, I should be ahead of things. But here, you might do very well with just simply stepping back and saying, okay, listen, I'm not going to drive myself crazy. I'm going to step back. I'm going to look at what needs to be looked at. I'm going to connect with the energy that is around me. And then I'm going to see myself bloom forward, because as I kind of go with everybody else, it's not following a herd, but it's not saying I have to be 15 steps ahead of everyone. I have to win this race. It's saying, okay, slow and steady wins the race. And you will find yourself being at a much more advantageous place for you during this time if you do so. This is also you reclaiming your personal power. So with everything that we've been through in the world, everything that's been going on, reclaiming your personal power and claiming yourself is going to be absolutely important to you. You're also channeling the sacred darkness. And what that means is that you're looking at the shadow side of the self, which is astoundingly important. Again, we can't always be happy and joyful and cheerful and just everything perfect and no ego coming into play and no sense of jealousy. We need to embrace those type of things, or else they manifest themselves in a way kind of almost like a volcano. And so during this time, you're going to be claiming your personal power by knowing the powerful force of the two aspects of yourself. The person that you want to be, the person that is this love, this joy, this prosperity, this brightness, this connection, and this love with all of humanity, right? But then the person that it's like the benevolent ruler and the tyrant. You see yourself as both during this time, and that's going to be very powerful to you. And this full moon says it's time to release negativity, and that's going to be what's so important. It's time to release the negativity. It's time to claim your personal power. It's time for profound personal transformation. And as you do so, you blossom into yourself, into where it is that you need to be and what it is that you desire. Now, on the 22nd of May, that's when the new moon is. And the new moon is in Taurus. So during this time, this is also a time where you resonate very much with the mysteries of sex, with the mysteries of birth, of death, and of rebirth. So this is going to be a time with the Scorpio, full moon, that's very powerful for you and very kind of sexually charged. So you're going to have this creative energy around you. You might find yourself being rather amorous during this time, or just having this creative energy that you need to move forward with. And with the new moon in Taurus, Taurus is a very, very sensual sign. So these two are going to play off each other really, really nicely, but it can also be rather overwhelmingly. So here with the new moon in Taurus, this says prosperity lies ahead. As you walk through from one aspect of yourself into another, or as you're walking between this archway from the sacred darkness and the sacred light that makes up you. And as you do so, you are going to see a new start coming. You're going to see a new way of looking at what you desire, what you want, and where it is that you want to be. And as you're moving forward with this power and with this understanding, by the time you get to the full moon in June, which is now the full moon in June is in Old Europe, it is called the honeymoon. and it is also called like honey, like from bees. The honey moon, the mead moon, but it's also called the flower, not the flower, the full rose moon. So that's going to be very, very powerful for you during this time. It's also the strawberry moon because it brings sweetness to move us forward. If you look in the almanac, that's what it's called. It's called the flower. It's not called the flower. It's called the strawberry moon because you will have that sweetness on your lips. There's this ripeness to life, and there's this ripeness to the crops of what you are setting out to achieve. Now, this full moon will be in Sagittarius, and it says, look at the bigger picture. That's going to be so important to you, looking at the bigger picture. But here in the Queen of the Moon cards, this is also called the hot moon. In the Queen of the Moon cards, the June moon is called the hot moon. And this says extremes. You are going to be kind of swayed by extremes. All right. So in this moon, you're going to need to step back and look at the bigger picture. It's going to be very important for you to look at the bigger picture. And what's important about it being the full rose moon is that rose is a very powerful color for you during this time. It's the color of the new moon. It's the color of the full moon in Sagittarius, and this is going to be a color that stabilizes and moves you forward. So if you could have a bit of rose quartz around you during this time, that would be absolutely beneficial. It's going to ground you to the earth, which is going to connect you with the power of the new moon in Taurus, but it's also going to move you forward in the bigger picture and in the love that is amplified in the full moon in Scorpio, but also the extremes and the passion of the full moon of June. So that's going to be a really nice way of encapsulating and incorporating everything. The color for the full moon in Scorpio is green. It's going to be a time of planting. It's a time of connecting with the earth. So if you can be outside during that day, even just for a little bit on the 7th of May, that would be very, very beneficial. Now, the animals, the spirit animals for this time are the beaver spirit and the elk spirit for the full moon in May. Now, in my totem animal cards, I don't have an elk, but I have an antelope, so it's standing in. And what we have here is laying a solid foundation. Also, as a totem animal, the beaver represents ingenuity, persistence, and achievement. And the elk represents strength, stamina, endurance, and patience in relationships. So these are going to be things that really come out during this time. But with the antelope spirit stepping in, it says life is speeding up. So as you're laying the solid foundation, you are going to see what you desire and what you truly want speeding up for you during this time. And what's really beautiful is that it leads you to the spirit animals and the totem animals for June, which are the deer spirit and the eagle spirit. And what I think is so beautiful about both of these is that this is a bird of prey, and deers are gentle creatures, and so here you're going to have that sense of being fierce and being bold, but also being gentle, being kind, and being more demure, like in the background. And this is why you have the sense of extremes, because an eagle isn't ignored, and a deer can be ignored. It can be overlooked. It can just kind of blend into the surroundings. So you're even seeing these extremes in your totem animals. So here with the deer, this represents gentility, but it doesn't. Okay, so it represents a gentleness, but not defenselessness. There we go. And there is a strong and brave undertone to a deer, but when it's needed, because being kicked by a deer, I don't know if you've ever had a deer like really close to you. They're powerful, powerful animals. I remember coming out of my house one time and there was, a deer right in front, like in the garden. I was like, oh my goodness, it was so much stronger and more than I ever thought it would be. And this is also bringing forth a natural beauty to your life. And there's a degree of innocence to you that you would really feel very, very happy with bringing forward during this time. And then with the eagle spirit, this is your connection with the divine. The eagle represents man's connection with the divine because the eagle flies higher than any other bird. Also, remember that birds of prey are the only sight hunters that are better than humans. So here we have the deer spirit, which says bring a gentle touch, which is absolutely appropriate. And then we have the eagle spirit, which says spirit has your back. So during this time, as you're flying higher than you ever thought you could, and you're seeing things more clearly than you thought you could, remember that Spirit has your back and to rely on Spirit as you're moving forward. There's freedom and courage that is looking over you, but that also is helping you look ahead. And there's an importance for honesty and being thoughtful during this time. And we see that here with the repeat of the number 7. It's going to be very important for you to be honest, to be forthright, and to be moving forward in a power that is absolutely yours. Now, at the heart of everything here is the Page of Swords. Again, an air sign energy, a Gemini, a Libra, and Aquarius. But this is also at your heart. There is this innocence that comes with the dear spirit, but also that comes with you and a reclaiming of your power and the light that is hidden within you, shining forward from your psyche and from yourself during the Scorpio moon. That's what's going to also be pulled to the surface. You're going to know your mind more. Right, cutting through doubts and fears, knowing where it is that you stand, clear thought, clear thinking, being more intellectually inclined towards things. So Aries, you might think, okay, I want to move forward in just action during this time. And because your emotions are going to be running high and you will have the extremes that the full moon in Sagittarius is calling to, but also that the full moon in Scorpio is calling to, those extremes of, of love and passion, of hate and destruction that come forward because you're going to see yourself. You're going to see your emotions taking center stage and embracing the sacred darkness as well as the sacred light within your life. And there is a need to look at things through the eyes of a child, through innocence and through comprehension of mind. And this leads you to the Nine of Wands. And the reason why you have to embrace the Page of Swords is because the Nine of Wands is saying that there's a lot of outside noise that is going to be kind of bombarding you at this time. And you need to look at the transformation that the full moon in Scorpio brings in order for you to move forward, in order for you to embrace what you want and to stand in your truth. And as you do so, you have the High Priestess coming forward, and your crown is very, very powerful. It's the High Priestess, and it is justice. So here, as you turn towards the sacred mysteries, which is what the Scorpio energy is really calling you to do, you're going to turn towards sacred mysteries, central mysteries, profound mysteries of your psyche, of yourself, of creation, of life. It brings a sense of justice, but it also brings your angels right there to you. And you're going to see that knowledge and wisdom, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. We can think that they're synonymous with each other. But during this time, you're going to see the difference between knowledge, between what you accumulate and what you kind of know by root, kind of you can recite off the top of your head, and wisdom. And wisdom is gained. Knowledge is acquired. So wisdom is something that you learn through time. You can have a whole bunch of book knowledge. Have you ever met somebody? My grandpa used to say they're so smart they can't find their way out of an open paper bag. And that's knowledge. That's having a lot of knowledge in your head, but no practical skills and no wisdom to guide you forward. And you're going to see that the wisdom and the knowledge are coming together, or even that you're transcending from knowledge to wisdom at this time, because you are turning inward, because you are looking at your passion, your creation, what you desire. Now, during this time, you have two void of courses that happened during the full moon in Scorpio and the new moon in Taurus. So during the full moon in Scorpio, the void of course is at 10:39 p.m. And this is going to be a time where you just don't want to do anything. Any decisions that you make, they're going to go pear-shaped. They're going to go exactly the opposite of the way you think they are going to go. And on the 22nd of May, on the new moon, it's the void of course is at 4:01 a.m. So you don't want to make any decisions during this time. And why this is important is because with the High Priestess at your crown, you are going to see that your intentions, your passion, what you're looking towards, and your connection with the earth is going to be very profound and very beautiful. And during these times of the void of course, where things don't go as you have planned, you are going to see sacred wisdom coming forward, and you're going to see kind of life lessons coming. So if you can kind of make this easier on yourself, I would highly recommend it by stepping back and saying, you know what, not at this time. I wouldn't do anything for either that whole entire hour. You can do it for 20 minutes if you need to be getting things done. But really during that time, I would just block out the hour and say, not during this time. I'm protecting myself, because you're going to see justice coming in, and your justice is really going to be given to you by your angels. Now, this can also be that you have a strong connection to a Libra energy, and that Libra energy is helping you move forward, is helping you connect with your sacred wisdom, is helping you connect with the phases and the evolution of yourself as you are moving forward. And again, Libra time frame, September 23rd to October 22nd. At your root is the Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups warns against daydreams, which is going to be very important during this time, because with the wisdom that surrounds you with Scorpio and with the intensity of Scorpio, because you're going to feel everything to kind of the ninth degree, and there's going to be a mindfulness of this. It's kind of like, yeah, so there's going to be the sense here with the Page of Swords of looking at everything through different angles. You're going to have an innocence to you during this time where you're going to think, oh, what can go wrong? You know, what would happen? You know, things won't be bad. It's all going to go according to plan, or this is how it should be. And so that's the way it's going to move forward. Just be mindful that things are going to impact you, Libra. Things are going to impact you, Aries, more than you think they are. And there's going to be this, why Libra came through is because it's the Justice card right here. And there's going to be this sense of justice that is needed when things come through. So here, Libra is represented by the Justice card in the Major Arcana and by the Swords in the Minor Arcana. So you're going to need to be just to yourself and look at things not only through how you would like them to move forward or through the innocent eyes of a child, but also through wisdom and the hurts and pains that life brings. With the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Cups is showing us that through mindfulness, okay, through visualization, through conquering things first within your mind, and then, you know, going out and really living that conquered state, you are going to see that you call to yourself exactly what it is that you want. And by doing so, you are going to find yourself empowered and invigorated. But during this time at your roots, you're going to have to kind of fight with yourself, not to simply daydream, not to say, oh, I wish this would happen, I wish that would happen, but to actively see yourself in your mind moving forward the way that you want to. And this could be a time where you're just simply building that idea within yourself. You are starting to see yourself moving forward the way that you want to, embracing the passion, the creation, the evolution, the transformation that this moon brings you. And then you can be stepping into it later on. It depends on where you are in your journey and what it is that you're going after, what you need to focus on and what you need your psyche to really embrace. And then here with the Eight of Wands, again, I like that progression, but also the Eight of Wands shows action. The Eight of Wands shows things moving forward. And that's what you're going to be embracing. It's on this earthly plane, but it's also within your mind. So if you're not ready for it mentally, you will not move forward in a certain direction or in a way that you might even be visualizing. You might even be visualizing for yourself. You might say, oh, I want this. But if there's a hesitation within your mind, if there's an underlying sense of fear, that is actually going to put the brakes on things. So just be mindful of that, because you do have things speeding up, but they will speed up in the direction of your mind and in the direction that you need it rather than the way that you want it. Now, you have here water sign energy really shining forward. So you have the Death card, which is the Scorpio energy, which does mean that this full moon in Scorpio is going to be very intense for you, even amplified by the fact that it is a supermoon, amplified by the fact that, you know, the Death card shines through in your reading. This is going to be a time where you see a lot of major things happening. It can be major lessons being learned, you know, looking at things in a new light. And with the Death card, you have this transformation guiding you forward. You have a dying away of the old stuff, a rebirth of the new, but also a connection with the sacred darkness, because when we think of death, we think of darkness. And so here it is that connection with darkness, with transformation, with, you know, mysteries and discoveries that is really going to be moving you forward during this time. And then we have here the Chariot, and again you have the 8 and then the 7. So here you have 7 and 8, and here you have the digression of, no, it's not, that's not right at all. So never mind that. But I do see this as digression. It's kind of like you move from death, from this place of rebirth and transformation, to this place of knowing what your heart wants and what you truly desire. And that's going to be really powerful for you. And it's almost going to feel to you as you go through this, that you're stepping backwards, but you're not. So that's what Spirit was saying. That's what your angels and your spirit guides were saying, and divinity was saying for this moon with the Chariot. The Chariot has this sense that your heart is stronger than you think it is. And your heart is actually going to be what's guiding you forward. Because the thing with Cancers is that, and this is the time frame that it represents, Cancer, which is June 21st to July 22nd, Scorpio is October 23rd to November 21st. And actually Libra goes right into Scorpio. So that's a very nice progression of time right here. What you're going to see is that you spread your wings and you are moving forward. What you're going to see is that nobody can stop you once your heart has decided you want it. So be very, very mindful, especially since you have the amorous atmosphere around you. You can have lust guiding you instead of love guiding you. And they can be easily confused, all right, during this time. Very much so. Love will last, all right? And love has a sense of practicality to it. Right? It's not like Romeo and Juliet. Oh, I love her. 5 minutes ago, I was talking, not even 5 minutes ago, but like 5 seconds ago, Romeo was talking about Rosalind, how he could never love anybody else. And then he lays eyes on Juliet, and that's it. He's just absolutely smitten. So that was lust and not love. And that made a very tragic story. So here, with the Chariot, you move forward towards what you love, and your heart will be your guide. But just be mindful that lust and love can be confused during this time. But there is going to be a transformation, and it's almost like you're looking in the eye of a storm. There's a calm that comes, but you know something more is coming forward, and then you are transformed by it. You are led forward. And with the 9 of Wands, there's a sense of, and it goes into the 8 of Wands. So I like that digression right here. The 9 of Wands is listening to everybody else, and then the 8 of Wands, it's like, okay, I have to listen to myself. I have to listen to what is needed within my heart, within my soul. It's being logical and practical because that's going to be very important to you. But it's being determined, and it is saying, okay, everybody has an idea of what I should do, but I also have an idea, and I am listening to my angels, to my spirit guides, to that connection to divinity and the divine that is going to lead me forward. Because you have 7, 8, 9, and it will be hard to move forward the way that you want to, because the Chariot is movement, the 8 of Wands is movement, and the 9 of Wands is a break on the whole entire thing. It's kind of like, I can't do this. It'll be easier to move forward the way that you want to if you do not let everybody else's words and opinions, and it can be, the media, it can be, people who want you to do one thing and you want to do another. There is going to be a sense that transformation comes by saying, I need to filter what is coming to me, and I need to filter the way that I'm embracing it. And that's going to be very important. The 9 of Cups is radiating greatness. It's having this beauty, this prosperity, this bounty around you. You might not see it. Others are definitely going to see it. And the key for this time is to be able to see this wealth and this beauty radiating from you. There's happiness that you're moving forward to, and there's a transformation that you are absolutely embracing. It leads you to the 4 of Swords. It's kind of like, okay, you have to see, and it's a have to. You have to see how you've been through a war, how things have been hard, how you've overcome it, and give yourself credit for that, Aries, because you're not going to. You're going to think, oh, I can only live here in happiness and joy and prosperity. But with the 4 of Swords, this is seeing that life has hurts and has pains, and giving yourself credit where credit is due, but also letting you rest. So this is why it's going to be important for this time for you not to be ahead of the game all the time, or not ahead of the game, but ahead of everybody else all the time. There's going to be a sense of rest. Take care of yourself. Brilliance shines around you. And then you can speed forward. And then you kind of don't listen to what everybody else is saying. It's not the people that love you. It's the naysayers. It's the anger. It's the disappointment. And you embrace your justice. You cut through the doubts and the fears. And you say, this is where I stand, and this is what I stand for. Now, as you do this, let me just move these. We have your Moonology cards, and we have your Queen of the Moon cards. We're going to layer these on top of the tarot to see how the tarot talks to the moon. So, yeah, we're actually going to start with your Queen of the Moon cards. How will Aries be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Aries be affected by the May 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly. Show me clearly. All right. Oh, yeah. How will Aries be affected by the May 2024 moon? How will Aries be affected by the May 2024 moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. So yes, very, very strong Scorpio energy and very strong Taurus energy. So you're really going to find May and the ebb and flow of the moon during this time to be very, very, very impactful for you. With the Page of Swords, you have here trust, and you have the egg moon. It's trusting in how you are taking care of yourself, how you are moving forward, but also seeing yourself as a child, okay, as somebody who needs guidance, who needs understanding. And as you cut through doubts and fears, you trust what you are moving forward in, because it's kind of like in Buddhism, they say the beginner's mind. It is looking at things with kind of out of the mouths of babe, out of the mouths of innocence, that you see what it is that you want, and you learn and you discover, and you become this person in this egg being kind of protected and set on. It's kind of like this time for you. It's going to be a time where, yes, it is a great time for deeper meaning, for deeper mysteries coming forward, but it's also a great time for you to expand and grow, but in a very personal, very private way. And as you do so, it moves you towards the new moon in Scorpio. It moves you towards an empowering Scorpio energy. So it says work through fears, because there's something here that either people have said in the past and their words keep on echoing through your mind, or there's something here where the voices of others are overshadowing the voice of yourself. And the transformation is that you are learning how to purify what is coming to you, so that you can work through your fears and move forward in your strength and in your power. Now, the will of the High Priestess within you is very important. The will of secret mysteries, sacred mysteries, is guiding you, is transforming you, is letting you see the transformation and the expanse of yourself. So during this time, you are going to see yourself as mother and as child, as father and as child, as, as kind of this evolution of self and this evolution of a person. And here, it is going to be very important for you to see yourself that way, because there is a sense of taking on the dark and the light. There is a sense of taking on the innocent and it's almost the weary. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's kind of like the innocent, I can do anything that I want to do. The whole world's the limit. The whole world has no limit. And then the adult that knows that life is so much harder than you thought it was, that you were in this rush to grow up, and yet sometimes you wish you could just rewind the clock. And so here for you, Aries, is this sense of the will of the High Priestess, the sense of the will of stepping back and looking at your sacred power and looking at the truth of what you've discovered and who you are and how much more that is within you than you ever thought, because life is not as easy as we would like it to be. And having that will, having that determination, having that gusto and that passion that leads you forward in creation and in beauty. And it leads you to the full moon in Taurus. Your dreams need a practical plan. You need to be just and fair with yourself. When you are setting out what you desire, you need to be, looking at things and not setting unrealistic expectations for yourself and then getting very mad at yourself when they don't go right, because this can also be a broody time where you sit there and you're like, oh, you're brooding on, not a broody like, you want a child, but a broody like, you want this and you're looking at it and you can get into a dark mood and it can just kind of spiral. So just be very mindful of this when you are looking at your dreams, and when your dreams do need a practical plan, that you need to be just with yourself, and also connect with your angels. Have an angel journal. Have, a conversation with your angels of how you can move forward and what's the best kind of plan or schedule that you can have for yourself during this time. Because at your roots is a tremendous sense of self-reflection. You're going to be done with lying to yourself. And you might sit there and say, Dana, I don't lie to myself. Everybody, in a small way or in a large way, we lie to ourselves. We tell ourselves nice stories to kind of smooth over what we know we should be doing, but we're not doing, what we're kind of procrastinating on. And if you're not procrastinating, that's awesome. This is also going to be a very self-reflected moon, but this is going to be a time where you're looking at yourself, you're looking at the many reflections of yourself, and you are seeing the difference between daydream and your reality. And you're also seeing the difference between what your mind thinks you can do and what you want to be doing. And you're going to be bridging that gap. And this leads you towards the new moon in Cancer, which says you and your loved ones are safe. As the change comes in, as you're moving forward, there's a sense of, okay, everything is taken care of. It might not be perfect, but there is a safety to this moon and there is a power to this moon. And it moves you forward to being discriminate about how you transform, how you evolve, how you have this shedding of one skin and this embrace of another, how you have the dying away of the old self and rebirth of a new. You're going to be very discerning, and you're going to see that by being discerning, you hold your world in your hands and you reflect the light of your passion, your power. This moves you to the waxing moon. It says here, energy is gaining momentum as you're moving forward, as you're connecting with your heart. The energy of your heart is gaining momentum. It's helping you work through fears, and it's letting you know that you and your loved ones are safe, that you are more powerful, more courageous than you could ever have thought you were, and you're hungry. You are hungry for the beauty, the prosperity, the love, the joy to come into your life. You're hungry for it. It's like, yes, now is my time. I've been calling for it. I've been wanting this for so long. I hunger for it. And then this moves you to the mutable moon, which says nothing is yet set in stone. So with all the pain and all the hardship that you have been through, know that nothing is set in stone. You do not have to continue that narrative, and your future is yet to be discovered. Embrace the mystery of it all, because you're moving here towards giving your dreams a practical plan and really moving forward in practicality as you work through your fears and what has been holding you back. Your subconscious message for this time from the Moonology cards is the third quarter moon. It says adjustments are required. So looking at things, making adjustments, being really brutally honest with yourself is going to be something that this moon brings forth. And as you make the adjustments, you see beauty and you see the transformation. And it's also a transformation because this flower right down here looks like lips to me. It's transformation in what you speak to existence, in the words that you say and how you talk to yourself, what you want from yourself. And as this beauty comes forward into your life, as you've made the adjustments and as you've reflected, your subconscious message for this whole entire time is the Knight of Cups, is defending your heart, moving towards what you love, but also knowing that with this moon, since the moon controls the tides, all right, you are going to see that you flow and change and become as this moon moves you forward. And there is this strong sense of a connection to the water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So the Cancer energy, the Scorpio energy of this moon is absolutely guiding you, and you will not be held back. And what you love is center stage for you during this time. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I hope you all are staying safe, and I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all